Hello, and welcome to Empowered the Podcast. My name is Linda, and I am your host. I am an empowerment coach, a spirit junkie, a realtor, a proud mom, and a dog mom. I'm also an animal advocate, a child advocate, and someone that overcame a lot of challenges and trauma in my life. This podcast is packed with powerful content, inspiring conversations with amazing guests who will help you heal, grow, and evolve into a better version of you so you can attract in your best and most empowered life. I don't know about you, but I'm not here for mediocrity. I'm here for an abundant, blessed life. Life does not have to be so hard. That is an old program. We can do less and attract more, and I know this to be true. I love bringing you this powerful information. I hope you enjoy, learn, and grow. Have a beautiful day. Hello, and welcome to Empowered the Podcast. I'm your host, Linda Brand. Happy Monday. I'm so glad you're here. I know you have so many things you can listen to, so it means a lot to me that you're here listening, that you value this show. Today, I'm sharing a powerful conversation with an amazing woman. She's a bright light. She calls herself the Queen of Hearts. She's a former yes girl, former people pleaser. She changed her entire life when she hired a coach who taught her the true value of self-love and self-worth. She recently sold her home, moved across the country with her little dog. Sound familiar? She's manifested a life filled with love, abundance, and empowerment by walking in faith and trust in God. And now she's influencing women, changing their lives. And I'm really excited to share this conversation with you. This is just what we talk about here on Empowered. We talk a lot about self-love, self-care, and self-worth. So enjoy. And if you know anybody who would benefit from listening, please share with them. It means a lot to me to get this podcast out there. And I would love it if you could leave a review. Thank you. And let's welcome Jennifer to the show. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Linda.
You're so welcome. So tell us a little bit about your journey and where it all began for you, and however far back you want to go, what you're currently doing and how you came to be doing it.
Okay. So over a decade ago, I was in an emotionally abusive relationship. He was narcissistic, only I didn't know what that was yet because everything wasn't all over the internet yet. You didn't have access to this information. I just knew it was an unhealthy relationship. And I was blessed to get out of it. I had two things that happened that showed me his true colors. And the biggest one was my little dog, Chloe. Right before she turned 1 was Memorial Day. And this man yells, pick up your dogs, pick up your dogs. So I did, and he did. He turned his back to me, my boyfriend at the time, with his dog. And all of a sudden there's a Rottweiler jumping at me, rips Chloe out of my arms. She's on the ground, bleeding. And I'm just traumatized by it. My boyfriend comes over, he's yelling at me in front of this full crowd, saying that this is your fault. You didn't pick her up. And everyone says, no, she was holding the dog. And I felt so helpless in that moment. Fortunately, Chloe was okay. She had pins in her foot for 3 months. She was my baby. She still is. She just turned 14 this past Saturday. But this changed my life because I got to see his true colors. Everything revolved around the dog. And this, was hard for him. He was jealous of her time, her schedule, everything.
How long were you with him at that point? Had you been together? And were you living together?
No, we weren't living together. And we've been together 2.5 years, or about that.
Oh.
Yeah. So that would be the next step. But I got out. This was my wake up call. And I felt so guilty for so long that my poor little baby got attacked and I should have gotten it sooner. And I blame myself. I was always so hard on myself.
Yeah, that's awful. Your guilt is terrible to walk around with guilt that wasn't necessary. And so now you've forgiven yourself, or you don't believe. Yeah.
I have. And I also had a friend tell me, look at how you're living your life back then. One day you're going to wake up, and she said, you're going to want to blow your pretty little brains out. And I just cried, tears streaming down my face because I thought, I don't want this life. So these were my wake up calls. And when my boyfriend said after Chloe was healed, he said, let's give her to your parents. Like, they love her. And I thought, you want to give my baby away? No, like, I'm giving you away. And I was living with him at the time. We were talking about a future together. We were talking about getting married, all of that. And, I got out instead. I realized that I needed to choose me. And that was the first moment in my life that I began to empower myself, not even realizing it at the time.
Good. I mean, so glad that you realized, and it's a blessing that the dog. Now, did he have a dog, his own dog too?
Yeah, he had a small dog too.
Okay, but he wanted to give your dog away. That's so insane. I'm a big dog person. You know that. We both
I
are.
know.
I've had dogs for 30 years. I had a pet sitting business for 8 years. I have my rescue. I mean, I would never. I mean, that's, yeah, so a blessing in disguise. And now you got rid of him. And then what happens next?
Yes. So then I moved back to Sacramento and I had sold my condo, but that was okay. I rented a townhouse and everything was coming together. I realized I was living my life for this man. I wanted to fit into someone else's life. And I didn't realize that I needed to build my own, that I was important and that I mattered. So I began to do just that. I started to join Women's Junior League. And there's a women 30-something group. And I became close friends with these women. And some of them I'm still close friends with today. We take trips typically annually together. And it was a blessing. I started to become empowered on the outside. And I was growing at work. I was realizing, but I also had this I hadn't done this healing. I had all of this stuff that had built up that was just sitting there. And I had a coach come into my life who was a true gift. I wasn't looking for her. I met her at a party. She was just there and she knew she needed to work with me. I didn't even understand it at the time, but I knew I was supposed to.
How long ago was that? What year was that?
Late 2012, early 2013. So I had gotten out of the relationship earlier that year. And the first day we worked together, she told me these words that would change the entire trajectory of my life. She told me, you have to hold yourself accountable. You chose this relationship. You're not the victim here, and you have self-esteem issues. And I thought, kick me when I'm down. Like, I just got out of this emotionally abusive relationship, and you want to say this to me now? Like, Arna, I'm the victim. And then I realized in that moment, oh, I don't want to be the victim. I'm done being the victim. It's time for me to do whatever it takes to love myself.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Yeah. My last guest that I just interviewed, she says, we're not victims, we're survivors. So you are a survivor. I'm a survivor, and we all have healing to do. So you decided, I am not a victim. You're going to start. So you had the coach, and then what happens to turn you into a coach and write a book and all that? So tell us.
Yes. She taught me how to love my inner child, that little girl within me. That little girl, I hated her. I was mean to her all the time, blamed her for everything. I was picked on as a kid by the girls in school for a number of years. It was really hard on me. I never felt like I belonged. And I grew up in a loving home, but my mom didn't say I love you because she didn't grow up that way. She showed me love with acts of service. My father said I love you, but he was traveling for work so much. So that was what I was around. And I didn't understand as a child. I created stories around it, feeling unlovable when I was, in fact, loved the whole time. That was a
Absolutely.
challenge, but this was the time that I could let that go and I could start to heal. And the way I did this is by learning to love myself, by loving that little girl, cherishing her, walking alongside her, listening to her. Like, what does she want to do? Bring the child out in you. And that's when you connect those two pieces. And then you start to make peace with yourself.
Absolutely. I know a lot around this inner child work. It's so powerful because we all have an inner critic. We all have an inner mean girl. We all have this inner voice in our minds. And that's the voice that we need to love and cherish and because it sounds to me like you had trauma. You had trauma from the kids at school, bullying. That's a form of trauma. You had the father not being around, your mother never saying she loves you, even though she showed you through actions. I mean, these are all just, I mean, it does. A child takes this on as meaning something that it doesn't mean. And we're all worthy beings just for being alive. And then you didn't understand that. You felt unlovable, which I also have been on my own healing journey, my own self-love journey. And it's a big journey. And the self-love is gigantic in like achieving everything you want in life and like having the best, most abundant life. You have to learn to love yourself and know that you are whole and complete. So I love that you're doing that. So you went through that. Was that the same coach that helped you learn about the inner child and all of that?
Yes.
Oh,
I
no.
worked with her for a short time and I wasn't ready to continue because here I was loving myself. I wasn't going to let anyone in. I wasn't going to put myself back out there. That's just where I was. I had come that far. And so I was busy with work. I had realized I could be really successful at work. And what I got there was validation. Didn't know it at the time, looking back, being a workaholic, being a people pleaser was for the validation because it felt like love. It wasn't love and it will burn you out. I went through that plenty. I had a number of wake up calls where one of the tough ones, and I still didn't move forward yet. I still wasn't awakened to what I needed to do. I was laying in bed taking a call with hospital leadership because I was in hospital medical sales on my Christmas vacation because there was a crisis going on in the hospital and I had to keep an eye on it while I was on vacation. And I had been waiting all year for time off because I was so dedicated. I put everyone else first. I couldn't even give myself time off until the end of the year because I thought everybody else's needs were more important than mine. I thought, well, I'm dealing with hospitals, patients. This is life or death, right? I don't matter in the whole scheme of things. I'm of service. This is what I'm here for. And that's where that all started. But I was laying in bed and I was in between vomiting for 16 hours and I had my eyes closed and I thought, you are still taking this call. You are so sick. My mom was taking me to urgent care later that day. But how did I get here? And I had hit my breaking point. I told my manager the week before that I don't have anything left in me. I screamed at him on the phone and I begged for help. And I'm like, I'm literally cracking right in front of you. But he's like, well, just give me till the beginning of the new year and I'll get you help. I can't ask anybody else. And I'm thinking, I sacrificed. I saved $1 million worth of business for a rep on maternity leave. I did all of these things and yet no one's coming to help me when I really need it. So I learned a lesson there. I got diagnosed with stress. I wondered, well, how is that possible? Like I always power through. Like that's for the weak. Like I can't be stressed. I can't have stress affect me. But I learned and I was a little bit more aware. It took much tougher lessons to really wake me up to it, but they were
So was
coming.
that, yeah. So was that why you were physically sick? Was your body was raising awareness to what was happening with your work? Like you were a workaholic, you were giving,
Yeah.
and you were depleted. So your physical body was like your wake up call too. Like this has to stop.
Yes.
This is not a life I want to live.
Yes. I had chronic pain from a auto injury 20 plus years ago, and it was flaring up because of the anger that was coming up within me. And everything, my body was just
Right.
trying to wake me up, saying, pay attention.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
signs before that, but I just got angry if anybody told me anything. I was just like,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're talking about. I was completely defensive.
Mm-hmm. So what changed? When did you decide enough was enough?
Yeah. So I had been with this company for just at 11-year mark, and there had been a rework. Well, let's see. So there had been an acquisition. I had a new manager come in, and he asked me to do some things that I deemed to be,
Pardon?
and so that I
You,
deemed to be unethical.
oh,
And
okay.
so I wasn't going to compromise my values. And so he made up fake customer complaints about me. I was
You did what?
heartbroken.
Sorry, for some reason I couldn't.
Made up fake customer complaints about me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was heartbroken. I'd been at this company for, it was just over 10 years, and I was so upset, so angry, so emotional over it. And I went to HR and I fought, but it didn't matter because it wasn't, it wasn't where I was supposed to be. And I realized, like, I took a leave of absence. This was my time to take care of me. But having been on stage, having been in the top 1%, having been sitting with executives, at fancy award trips, and now this is happening, really? So many of them had left. No one was there to protect me. There'd just been so many changes. And during that time off, got to realize that there was more to life. This is where God was showing me, only I didn't even know it yet. He was showing me that you deserve better. You are here for more, and you are not respecting yourself here.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to realize, finding other things to do with my time. But then I got forced back. Oh, and I went on anxiety medication during that time. My doctor put me on Zoloft so that I could calm down because I was so upset and so angry, and I just felt terrible having given all this time to this company and being
Right.
treated this way.
Right.
So, but yet I didn't know what to do. I wasn't ready to make any big changes. I didn't know anything else. So I went into another similar situation with another top company, and only this happened much, much faster. And when that happened, I said, okay, put my arms in the air, and I just said, I surrender. Like, really, I don't care. It's during COVID. Whatever you're going to do, because I'm not going to live with this. And by the grace of God, I got moved to another manager, and then ended up with one who had his spiritual awakening in high school, was peaceful, was centered, and started to show me what it was like to live that way. And I was so grateful to learn from him, to grow.
Good. And then, so this was how long ago?
Yeah, so this was 2020, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when did you write the book?
So I wrote the book last summer, and I had left that last company in the end. There was a reorg, and my manager got let go, and I said to myself, I cannot go back to the way things were. I cannot go back to the disrespect. And basically I knew it was all going to be burned to the ground. And what I mean by that is I wasn't going to get out peacefully. I was going to have to stand up for myself and just know that I have a target on me and know that I'm going to get a target on my back.
Oh, okay.
And know that I'm going to get the green light. God's going to free me from the situation. So I stood up for myself, and this was just over a year ago. I left last April, like late April, from my corporate job. I had an option to take a leave of absence again, and I said, nope, did that, not going back there again. And I had to trust. This is all I knew my whole life. And I had to trust to start a business and follow God's path for me.
Beautiful. So you wrote the book and started on your coaching journey of empowering other women to love themselves?
Yes.
Okay. And so you talk about following like the breadcrumbs and like God's direction. So do you believe that like you believe everything happens for a reason and that you are like rejection is redirection or protection? Like those jobs happening that way was all to lead you to what you're doing today, right?
I do believe that. I believe that you can come out of something sooner if you choose to. So it's when you learn the lesson.
Yeah.
And it took me a little bit longer to learn the lesson, but I did, and I freed myself from that situation, and doors started opening, not the way I would have expected. I had seen signs that I was going to move to Dallas, Texas for over a year. And I just had to trust that in the right moment, I would be guided there. And it did happen. So it was last late September when God says, okay, time to sell your house. Knew which realtor to go with, knew her through friends and trusted. And I hear it's going to sell in less than 2 weeks. And it's sky high mortgage interest rates. Yet it did sell in less than 2 weeks. And both closed in 3. I Googled my house across the country. It was the same builder I had. I didn't even know they built out here. Huge area I'm living in, but I was pinpointed to the neighborhood and a house was available. So I just have learned to trust.
Yeah. So tell us about the book.
Yeah. So I wrote Reclaim Your Heart Power, How to Heal Your Heart and Find Personal Power After Narcissistic Abuse. And this is, in each chapter, there's reflection, questions, and actions that you can take. And this can be narcissism in any area of your life. For me, it was relationships. It was at work. I even had it in friendships. And I see it so clearly looking back and when I wrote the book. So I want to help, especially women, see the signs so that they know. Like anytime someone is not allowing you to shine your light, that is a big sign. Anytime someone puts you down, downplays something that you're doing, changes the subject back to them.
Right. Powerful women, like confident women, empower other women. Powerful women lift others up. We're not putting others down. When you're putting another down, even in a conversation, like I don't like when I'm in a conversation with a woman and like or a man, anybody, and they're criticizing someone else. To me, it's like I don't like it at all, but I think it's like insecurity on their part. Like when you push someone else down, you're trying to lift yourself up versus just being, a better being versus there's 2 ways to rise, putting someone down or just, elevating yourself versus, working on you, building you, and then you become better versus putting someone else down because you or intimidated, jealous, whatever it is, So, yeah, so you experienced narcissistic behavior in multiple relationships. It wasn't just your boyfriends, it was friendships and other things, right?
Yes,
And
leadership at work.
yes, okay.
A number of times.
Yeah. So where did the Queen of Hearts come from? And tell us a little more on that. And
Yeah, so Queen of Hearts,
it's a great name.
thank you. Because I wanted to help women come back to their own heart, come back to their own love and God's love, all of it.
We're all queens,
We
we're
are.
all queens. So I love the name Queen of Hearts because, yeah, we are queens. Go ahead. So, yeah, so you wanted to help women with healing their heart. And do you feel that you're healed or you're still on the journey? I mean, I know I'm still on the journey. It's just an ongoing. I don't feel like
I believe we're on that journey till the day we die. That is my belief. I believe that you can still do what you're called here to do with where you're at now. It's that sometimes people get trapped in that I can't do this until I heal this part, until I heal that part. And you get in this perpetual round and round loop, but you can let go of that and move forward knowing that you are worthy of what you're here for. And the more you love yourself, the more you take care of yourself, focusing on self-care, that is the game changer. And for me, it's been a journey. I've had my spiritual awakening beginning of 2022. That's when I just gotten out of a relationship. My heart was broken and I asked for what I wanted. My relationship coach at the time said, ask for what you want. And peace, love, and joy came out of my mouth. I'm like, where did that come from? I don't say these words, but that's what happened. And I ended up coming into my faith with it. I just asked, I said at the time, God, universe, like, I want peace, love, and joy. And I had tears streaming down my face. I want my life to have meaning. And I was blessed a couple days later. That's really where my faith started. I was blessed to have this radio station download that I never downloaded, Peaceful Morning Radio, Pandora, driving in the car back from a work appointment. First song is Joy in the Morning. Second song is Do Not Fear, You're Blessed, a Christian song. So I went back to the Christian church and I knew I was being brought there to help men and women in singles ministry open their hearts, realize that they deserve love and that they're worthy. And that was what the path I took. I helped coach an 11-week relationship course there and did coached at tables and did other stuff in singles ministry. And that was my beginning of all of that.
Beautiful. I love that. So what I noticed I noticed in more than once you mentioned surrender, and that's so powerful because like when I sold my house 2 years ago and relocated across the country, I was surrendering to my current circumstances, financial circumstances. I had multiple choices, but like I just surrendered. And then I am so grateful that I took the action and made those decisions. And that was my next question to you was going to be, how did you get through or past fear when you were going through different things to transition? Like, how did you move through the fear? What tools, things did you do? What kinds of support did you have when you were facing just moving to Texas, changing your life? Or, I know you have your faith, but like, how did you, single girl with your dog, like same as me. How did you do it?
I really just had to trust. I didn't have anyone here. And it was just knowing I was meant to be here, knowing that, my future husband's here, being a mom still. I'm older, but however it comes in, it comes in. But that's been on my heart for a very long time. So just trusting, because I thought I'd meet my person first. I thought I'd be transferred for work. But no, I was like, no, I'm just going to have you show women that you have to create that life that you're being called to. And then the rest of it will follow, which was a lot.
Yeah, jump and the net appears is the way that my coach at the time, when I moved to Florida and changed my life, she's like, you did a quantum shift, Linda. And she's like, and I did. And she's like, in it, the text, I mean, what I'm just saying is a metaphor. Jump and the net appears is faith. It's just faith. And you had faith. That's it. You knew you were being guided to Texas. You knew that this was the right move because you kept seeing signs of Texas, Dallas. And so, yeah, for me, so tell us about your spiritual, tell us some of your self-care practices, some of your spiritual, do you have like a morning routine that you do every day or evening routine or different things that people can do? And then also I'd love to know like some mentors and books that like helped you along the way and things like that.
Yes. Okay. So my routine has been changing because I have moved from the middle of the road, spiritual and religious and faith-based to faith-based. And that was a big jump for me because I wanted to reach everyone, and I still want to work with anybody who feels called to work with me, whether you're faith-based or not. That's important for me to say here. But I did make the transition. I was doing more meditations, and I was listening to songs that just made me feel empowered in the morning. So I was doing both of those, reading a lot of books. And then I've shifted to recently waking up, and I was listening to Christian music before, but definitely listening and worshiping more, singing to Christian music when I wake up, and have moved in that direction. Instead of just talking with God, like I'm in His Word daily now. So I've made those changes, but focusing on self-care is so important. So I take bubble baths, like lavender, Epsom salt bubble baths. And I love that. I'll call it a sacred walk. I go outside, and I've been doing these things for some time, where I'll take Chloe for this walk, and I have butterflies and flowers in my neighborhood. And I just know it's where I was meant to be. I see all the signs. So I enjoy that. I look at the green grass. I look at the blue sky. I just take it all in. I feel the breeze on my face. And I'm grateful and I appreciate it. I start my day with gratitude. I say, and I've done this for the last 2.5 years, thank you for this amazing day. I'm so grateful for this amazing day. I focus on I find the good in all the experiences. Even if something frustrating happens, I don't live in it. I let it go, or I find the good in it.
So
I do the same thing at night. I say what I'm grateful for, and I sit in that appreciation and gratitude, and it's really changed my life. Being in your heart as much as you can and out of your head. I still have to, like everyone. It doesn't matter how much work you've done. Still letting it go of what's coming up. Okay, what thought's coming up? I'm going to let this go, or I'm going to shift it. I'm going to feel into my heart instead.
Good stuff. So tell us some of the books that you read.
Yeah, the most recent one was The Magic of Surrender by Kurt Blackson. That was a big one for me.
Nice.
It's just a beautiful book on what happens when you truly let go and how life just unfolds.
Yeah.
I recommended it to my clients too, and they started reading it that day. Everyone was so enveloped in this book, which I loved. Let's see what else. I know I keep making these changes, so now I'm going back. I started with Gabby Bernstein. That was where I started.
I love her. I'm a fan. She's incredible. I have her app. She's incredible. Do you, what about Louise Hay?
Yes, I haven't read anything by her, but I know of her, and I used to with a lot of Wayne Dyer, so that's where I started on my journey quite a bit.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Now I'm
Amazing.
going to read Focus. I was just interviewed on the podcast that aired today too, and she told me to read Focus.
Hmm.
It's about,
Good. Awesome.
I'm really focusing on self-love and getting women prepared. So the more you come back to love yourself and now the closer you come to God, and the more you'll feel that love within as well. So that, and the more faith you have, just trusting that it's on its way. And
Yeah.
that's, like, I know when that happens for me, I'm going to share my journey. That's just something that I know is going to happen so that people can see, like, what happens when you have that trust. Sometimes when you get so busy with taking too much action, when you're determined to make something happen, you're forcing, you're pushing. So let's just use an example for those that are looking for love. You're going on a million dates thinking it's a numbers game. People will say that. But if you're not surrendering, if you're not allowing, like, I'm not looking because I know it's coming to me, because I'm in the process of living my life, and because I listen to the guidance of where I'm supposed to be all the time. So I know he won't pass me by when the timing's aligned. I don't worry about that.
Okay. You listen to what? I'm sorry. You listen
So
to.
the guidance,
Oh, got it.
so I
Okay.
just trust that I'm where I'm supposed to be all the time. And I've
Yeah.
learned to live my life that way. So if I'm running late for something, not for client appointments, but if I'm, going out somewhere and I want to leave 10 minutes earlier, but I don't, I just trust it's because I'm supposed to see the signs. I'm supposed to walk in at a certain time to meet somebody who maybe I'm going to coach, or who maybe I know someone who can help this person or make a new friend. Like, I just trust that all the time, and being able to do that, there's this peace. I
Yeah.
Forcing things just doesn't work. And even in business, if you're trying to force,
You're
I've tried to do what I've been told works. And there are moments I'm like, nope, I have to pivot again. And I'm like, why do I have to pivot? Because I don't have it quite aligned. Or I've created some programs that I don't know why I haven't run them yet. And I'm just like, but now I do, because now the timing is right. And it's
yeah.
just knowing that.
I agree. I think it's an energy thing. It's all energy. And if you're chasing and doing and trying, it's not, you have to surrender. You have to let go. You have to take actions and allow, because that needy, clingy energy doesn't work, period. And then I love your basic message around self-love, because I had Rachel Medorsky on my show. She wrote a little book called How to Love Yourself in Less Than a Week and for the Rest of Your Life. And it's this tiny little book, and it's just powerful, because it's like, I really do think it's the key to the castle. I think it really is the answer to living your best life, is to knowing you're worthy and loving
Yeah.
yourself, because you won't tolerate things that aren't, and you're not going to be codependent, or you're going to just be build your own life, create your own life, love yourself. And then, I think the best is when there's two individual people that come together to enhance each other's lives, but they're still individuals. They're not like, you know, that insecure, like they have to know what the other person's doing all the time. Like, your value, and you don't have to worry that they're going to leave you for someone, because you know how great you are and you love yourself. So,
Yes. You're going to be okay no matter what,
yeah,
because, like you said, because you love yourself.
you love yourself, and that God, and you have God,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had my Course in Miracles group last night, and the one guy that was in there, he's like, said that he was kind of depressed for a while and he was lonely, but then he realized he has God. So he's never alone.
Yes, absolutely. And like, the recent shifts I've made, it's powerful. I'm receiving more love and support. I joined Girl Power Alliance. They also have Real Men's Alliance. That's where women and they just pour into you in Girl Power. I just love that. So I'm able to do a speaker certification through here, amazing programs, can do a ICF coaching certification through here. But there's more. It's the uplifting community. They are teaching women how to build their kingdom businesses, how to be financially successful, all of it. And I've never experienced anything like what they offer here. And there's so many financial opportunities to be a part of this group.
Girl Power Alliance.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they have Real Men's Alliance too for the men.
I'll put the link in the show notes for everyone that you sent me. Yeah, I'm going to look into it. I have to stay focused. I have to really protect my energy, and because there's always something coming at you, and I know myself, and I know I need to stay focused. And it's, I have multiple things. I have real estate podcast coaching. So for me, I'm very selective where I'm spending my money now and investing, but I do like the idea, and the name sounds amazing, Girl Power Alliance.
Thanks. And it's so inexpensive. You bring in two members and your membership's paid for. Like, it's amazing just bringing people into this incredible community. So I feel so incredibly blessed. And then I'm coaching one-on-one, and I'm doing group coaching. I'm still doing my free program, Manifest with Love. And that's talking about my journey and how I've walked forward faith and trust, but showing you how to do that. Nice. As well as I have some other programs that I'll be able to connect with.
Okay. Is that
on love and empowerment?
Or on your Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll share all of those. Is there anything else you want to share or talk about or share or give? Is there any tips you want to give anybody out there that's listening that perhaps, is on their own self-love journey?
Yes. It's the journey, not a destination. It's all about enjoying the process and stop trying to get somewhere. Start embracing the now, living in the moment, because when you think about the past, you're living in what isn't aligned, what you don't want. So that's why you stay stuck in loops and these circles that go round and round that you don't want to be in. And when you look to the future too much, anxiety of the unknown. And so when you're thinking about having to but I have this due at the end of the year, that's so far away. Or when you can just focus on today.
I love that. I love it. I love that. I love staying in the present moment, and it's really fun. And, but we're not used to it because we all live about the future. We're always planning, and, I love living in the present moment, and that's great advice. Thank you for sharing that. And I think one thing I know I want more of is fun and more joy. And that's another reason I don't want to schedule a lot, because I want to go out and live my life and play pickleball and do this and do that and go and live and just travel and all the things. So
I'm going to learn how to play pickleball. And any day now, I'm looking into it at my gym, and you just said it. I'm like, yes, I know it's coming anytime now.
Yeah. It's a social thing, and I played twice, and I bought the racket and the balls, and but I just want to live a little more and just enjoy the present and enjoy.
Yes, that's really what it's all about. We're so worried and focused so often on everything that isn't even here yet that you miss out on truly living.
Yeah, exactly. So beautiful, beautiful. What tips do you have for somebody to start loving themselves? What can they do today to start loving themselves? And then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, and this is all definitely in my book too. My story is tied to it, but I have specific steps on really how to love yourself, 5 pillars of love, all of this. Yes.
Okay.
So speaking kindly to yourself is so important. Start seeing the good in you. Celebrate your wins, those small wins every day. And it can be anything. No, just start taking care of you.
I love it. Those are so powerful. Yes. Pay attention to the words in your head and say kind things to yourself and celebrating your wins, because we don't celebrate enough and we really should. So yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. I love talking to you and getting to know you, and you're such a bright light on the internet. I love
Thank you.
that you post, and it's beautiful. So, and what's the Facebook group that people can join?
The Love Infusion.
The Love Infusion. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have that link. We'll put it in the show notes. Okay. Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. It means so much to me that you're here. I know you have many options of things to listen to. If you did enjoy today's show, please share with someone you think would benefit. I would love to grow this audience and help as many people as I can. Also, leaving a review means so much to me. I would love it if you could leave a review. I hope you have a blessed day and live empowered. If you're looking for a coach, lindabrandcoach.com. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all the places. Take care, everybody.